We just checked into our London hotel. It's like noon here, but because we took a red eye, we're so sleepy. We like immediately showered after we checked in, and I just feel like I'm like ready for bed because I like barely slept on the flight. So we were originally gonna try to go to Kiln, which is like a Thai restaurant that a lot of people recommended, but it's like really cold and dreary and wet outside that we're just Uber eating this like Mongolian barbecue place to the hotel because we don't want to go outside and walk.
Five hours later.
Good morning. It's our second day in London, our first full day. Today we're going to go on our run. We're going to finally see some other sights in London in the daytime. And it's one of 2 days we have sightseeing in London before we head off to Scotland for the bulk of our time here. So we're going to cram in a lot of tourism today.
Guards have to work overtime today. There's no changing.
Beans on toast is not as bad as I think either of us thought they would be.
I didn't think it would be bad.
Oh, I was thinking it would be like American baked beans, which are like sickly sweet. I feel like these were like just sweet enough that it counterbalanced a lot of the really salty things, but not gross like American beans. So pleasantly surprised by beans on toast. It's also very cost efficient. I think each breakfast set was only like £10. So all in all, a good morning. Exploring the Tower of London by myself. Just finished up the Tower of London. I feel like this was the highlight for me in terms of like a learning historical site. British Museum yesterday that we went to is honestly just like so bad compared to this. Like I got the audio tour instead of doing the Yeoman Warder tour just because it was like super crowded and hard to hear him. And I feel like the audio guide was like the optimal way to experience the tower. Going for a digestive walk after dinner
walk.
On this bridge.
Brisk as in cold. No way.
Glasses and headphones and make your way to the ultimate.
Today is our first day of our Scottish Highlands road trip. We landed in Edinburgh this morning and now we're driving to Inverness where we're gonna end the night. But we're first stopping in this town called Perth for afternoon tea. So I feel like from researching online, people were saying that afternoon tea in London is like overpriced and not super worth it. And a lot of people, when I was researching Scotland stuff, recommended this more like mom and poppy afternoon tea place. So that's where we're going for lunch. It's 3:10 p.m. and it looks like the sun is setting now. It really feels like we're headed home to go to bed, but really we're in the mid-afternoon. We just finished our afternoon tea. Now we're driving to this distillery called Blair Athol. And it's like a whiskey distillery because whiskey is really popular in Scotland.
No, me, I barely like to mention Pop Idol just every other day. We got to go to the premiere of it actually back in 2003. I was beside myself. I was so in love with Colin Firth. I had a giant cardboard cutout of him. It's a long story. The guy from Blockbuster gave me. I gave me at my local Blockbuster because Pride and Prejudice was on DVD. We had
a little bit of housekeeping for you.
sun has not yet risen, but we're on the road because we only have 7 hours of daylight to take advantage of. Woo! We're at a bridge whose name I can't pronounce. We got kind of baited because this bridge is not very big, but it looked really big in the photos. So we drove 2.5 hours to get here. And then when we got here, we were like, wait, this is the bridge? But we're going to appreciate it nonetheless because it took so long to drive here. We're hiking to the fairy pools now, which is like, I think a series of waterfalls, but you can see the trail over there. We're gonna hike into this mountain pass area. We didn't do our research about the fairy pools, so we thought that this was like a hike that would lead us to the fairy pool that was like better than all the other pools that we saw along the way. But it turns out the fairy pools are just the fairy pools you see along the hike. So we just blew past all of them and then hiked past the end, not knowing that it was the end. And then after a lot of Googling, realized that we just needed to go back and appreciate all of the...
I like this one, because it's like reflected. Like it kind of looks like the rocks are reflected in the water, but it's really water outside of it. There's another one that's better.
We're doing our final site in the Isle of Skye. We're hiking the Old Nana Store Trail. There were actually two options. There was the easier option that only takes 30 minutes and a harder option that takes 40 minutes. And Jason picked the harder option. And not only that, the sun is setting right now. So hopefully we can finish this in time so it's not pitch black when we're coming back down the mountain. The sun has set and it's like almost dark out. It looks a lot lighter in the video. We made it through our itinerary of Isle of Skye stuff, but all we had to do was skip lunch to finish all of our hikes. So the last time we ate was like 8 a.m.?
8 a.m. yeah.
A little before 8 actually, because
7.
it was like 7:30. Our last meal was at 7:30 It's 4:45, so we're gonna go back to the hotel now. We're gonna eat our second meal of the day.
Oh, this just comes apart.
Oh! It's right there.
Oh. No. Is it good? That is the
Holy, this is really dense. It's like...
You're gonna go pile of sugar like that. Syrup? Amy, I don't have hands.
We went to Borough Market this morning, and in like an hour, in an hour we hit all 3 places that I had on my list, but I'm feeling super overstimulated now because it was like, it's as if there's like a food festival in the middle of Times Square.